Okay, hi, I'm Chris. I finished my Bachelor of Environment last year. I majored in landscape management and this year I've stayed on at Melbourne Uni to do an honours year in geography. So landscape management's all about managing the interface between science and society in terms of the environment. So you get people doing research and things like that, developing all these theories and concepts in the scientific side, and then you get the people who implement it on the social side. Landscape managers try and sort of bridge that divide a little bit by educating the community and also working with scientists to help get the knowledge out there to the public. So they work on projects like forming action plans for water management or environmental management, things like that, and also rehabilitation. They work out what the community wants, balanced with what the scientists want to happen as well, and just try and keep that conversation going back and forwards as much as they can. So I chose the Bachelor of Environment because I was thinking of studying engineering, but I really liked the idea of doing something to do with the environment as well. And so yeah, the Bachelor of Environment sort of gave a bit of flexibility in that area, and then as it turned out I didn't like engineering, so I ended up sort of following the path that I liked, and I ended up doing landscape management, so I found it really good. It was quite flexible and yeah, inviting in that sense. I think landscape management in particular I found interesting because it was talking about bridging the gap between science and the community. Sort of all the projects, and from my own sort of knowledge I noticed that was a really big issue. You know, there was communication from the scientists coming out there, but there was no uptake from the community just because they didn't understand it or they didn't know and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I really like that idea of trying to sort of help people through educating them, I suppose, and working with them. Yeah. The biggest change between uni and school, I guess, is not having that direct contact with your teachers. It's a lot more separate when they're standing at the front of a lecture that might have 80 or 100 people in it. You tend to feel a little bit insignificant, but I suppose the best tip to come around that is just to remember that you get their email address, you get their phone number, so you can easily contact them if you really want to get hold of them. And yeah, at the end of the day, you're still a student. They still care about you, so yeah, you're not lost in it. And it's good to be able to get cheap food on campus from lots of different shops and not just have to go to the same canteen every day. Yeah, so my favourite part of the course was doing field works and field trips and stuff like that. I suppose the reason why I enjoyed that so much was because it is all about getting out there into the real world. Sometimes at uni you can feel like you're a bit separate from everything. So yeah, getting out there and doing some field work, getting your hands dirty, really makes you realise that what you're learning is actually going to be useful somewhere one day. And yeah, it sort of really helps, I suppose, make you learn the practical aspect of what you're actually studying and how it comes out in the real world. Some examples of where I went on my field trips and field work. We had lots of trips all around Melbourne, obviously. Royal Park a fair bit for some ecology and some vegetation subjects. We also went up into the Dandenongs a little bit, out to Sunbury, back of Smarsh to look at some stuff up there for soil and vegetation again. Probably the biggest field trip I did was down to Colac, where that was for a hydrogeology class, where we looked at groundwater, and we went all the way down, saw the 12 Apostles and walked around down the beach down there, and then right up to Lake Colac, and yeah, that was a weekend one, so that was a good trip. So integrated landscape problem solving was what they call our capstone subject, which was is in our final year, and it's designed to bring all the knowledge we've learnt during our course together into one subject. So in that subject we teamed up with students from geomatics, and we were given a site just up in Northcote on Merry Creek, and we got to choose a range of different projects to do on that site, all in terms of environmental management or planning or something like that. My group chose the vegetation management side of things, so we had to go up and work out where the native vegetation was, where the weeds were, what was happening, how we could manage it, and then brought the geomatics in there by mapping stuff out, and we produced some really cool maps on you know, where the vegetation was and what was happening, and how we could go about getting rid of the weeds and preserving the native vegetation. So yeah, it was a great subject to reflect on everything that you've learnt, and you did find that you were drawing on all the different subjects you'd done before and going back through the references for them, and it was also good because we had a lot of freedom, so we got to do all our own time, we got to plan everything ourselves, and it was really open. It was good fun, very good fun. So yeah, I'm doing my honours this year. Very briefly, my topic's all about investigating urban agriculture and stormwater management and how we can draw those two together. So I'm doing a social study, so I'm doing surveys and interviews with people in Melbourne just to talk about those things and work out if there is any desire or what the community desires in terms of those, bringing those two together, and whether we can make a positive impact on the environment based on both of those things working together. I chose that topic because I'm interested in both food production and water management, and once again I suppose I was just I'm not exactly sure where I want to go with that yet, so I thought this was a really good opportunity to investigate both at the same time, and then from that I can decide which career path I want to take in the future afterwards. So when I finish my honours, I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. Travel's definitely pretty high on the list. I want to go have a bit of fun before I settle down into anything too serious. But then I really am looking forward to starting a career. I've been doing a little bit of work in environmental rehabilitation stuff while I'm doing my honours. So hopefully once everything clears up I can continue that. I've really enjoyed that, so it's good to be able to put the skills I've learned at uni to use in terms of a career. So yeah, I'll try and follow that up. So some of the biggest issues in landscape management in Australia, I suppose, would be really getting a balance between what the economy wants and then what the environmentalists want and then what society wants at the same time. It's a really big battle going on when you look at mining and things like that. They're really trying to get all these resources out of the ground, but the environment's getting forgotten, and they're arguing that that's helping the economy. So there's a lot of tension there between those three sectors. So yeah, the big challenge for landscape management is to try and I suppose get all those things in balance in a way that, you know, none of those factors get hurt, so that the economy still functions well, society's still happy, and the environment's still being looked after. So the best bit of advice I can give to students looking to come to the University of Melbourne or do the Bachelor of Environment is just to study what you enjoy. That's what I did, and it took me on a very different path to what I thought it was originally going to be, but I'm loving it. So yeah, just choose the subjects that you're interested in, the ones that you enjoy. You'll do well at those, and that's ultimately where it's going to take you in the end, is the place you want to go.